allowing us to come out tonight to study your word, God. Lord, I pray that you bless Pastor Redding, God, so that you can just send a word from on high, God. Lord, right now, we need you more than you can even imagine or think, God. But we just say thank you for the word that's going to come forth tonight. That's just going to help us to do better, God. And we're just saying thank you for those that's on the way, God. Thank you for those that came, God, Lord. Bless them, and especially that they thought it not robbery to come out tonight, God. And for that, we say thank you, God. Lord, we just say open our understanding. We will pray and magnify your name. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right. I realize it's been 2 weeks since we've been together. Thank you, Sister Warren. Thank you so much. I knew you would keep tabs on that. It's been 2 weeks. Wow. And I was in revival both times. I'll tell you. We were talking about Rahab. Okay. But let's take a little review. Let's kind of go back. You know that the children of Israel came out of Egypt, right? They were in Egypt, and there's some different places had kind of different meanings, spiritual meanings, okay? And Egypt is the place of bondage. Okay? And every believer before he got saved, that's where we were. And the devil was our leader. Pharaoh was there. Pharaoh was one over them. And you know that Pharaoh made their lives difficult. There's one thing that we can remember about a life of sin is that the Bible says that the sin has pleasure for a moment. Okay? And sometimes we Christians lie and we say that we didn't enjoy that life of sin. The reality is some of that we enjoyed. And that's what kept us in it as long as it did. Because we liked what we were doing. I mean, I'm going to tell the truth, some of y'all like drinking. It was fun for you. Okay? Some of y'all like cussing. Okay. And that was fun. You know, you just throw them out there. Okay. It's the place of you like partying. Some believers like partying. You like going out Friday night. Right? Come on, y'all. It's okay. You like going out. You enjoy that life. Okay? You enjoy that life. Okay? And that's what kept that's part of what kept us in there as long as we did. Now we're going to who smoked weed and who snorted cocaine, who slept around. Okay, we don't need to go there. Okay, but at some point, that life it loses the fun. It loses its fun, and you don't want to be there anymore, right? And that's the same with Israel. It got to a point they wanted to be delivered. Okay, and here's the other part about salvation. When you accept Christ, you are saved. Okay, when you accept Christ, you are saved. You confess Him as your Lord and Savior, you are saved. But what comes along with salvation is deliverance. Okay, because guess what? Once we got saved, we brought some of the old man, some of the old life into our walk with God. Is that fair? Okay. Everything didn't drop off. Okay. And I find that, especially new converts, they are confused. They get confused. And I know I was under the assumption when I got saved that once I got saved, then I wouldn't have to live that life of sin any longer. Okay? Only to find out that some things didn't drop off, didn't go away. Okay? And so for the new convert, they began to think, well, maybe I'm not saved. Because if I were saved, I wouldn't be doing this anymore. Okay? And really, it's because of a lack of teaching. And it's been a lack of accurate teaching. Okay? We were told that if you say you shouldn't be doing that, which is true. Okay? But the Apostle Paul talks about there's a wrestling going on. There's a war between what? There's a war. And how many know that's true? There's a war that goes on between flesh and spirit. What I know I should do, that I don't do. And what I know I shouldn't do, that I find myself doing. Okay? It's that war between flesh and spirit. And unfortunately, I can say that. Unfortunately, sometimes the flesh wins out. Unfortunately, sometimes the flesh. When to open your mouth and to close your mouth can be flesh and spirit. That's a flesh and spirit battle. Okay, when the spirit, we've talked about that before. The spirit is saying, "Be quiet, don't say anything." Okay, but your flesh said, I got to get this out. I mean, really, you felt like you weren't going to be right until you got it out. Okay, and some of the worst arguments we've been in is because we didn't obey the Spirit. Some of the worst arguments we've been in is when we would say, okay, I'll take the high road. And I'm just not going to say it, okay? Because not saying it, something about not saying it makes us weak, we think. Makes us weak. You should have said that. Okay? Because not saying it makes you weak. When in reality, not saying it can be strength.
That's right.
More strength than saying it. Because, and I always feel like salvation is a balance. There are times you need to be quiet, but then there are times you need to speak up. I think it's a balance. You don't need to be quiet all the time. Okay, there are times you need to open your mouth and take a stand on something. Okay, so it's that war that goes on, and all of us fight that war. All of us fight that war. Okay, because what needs to happen is deliverance. That Bible says, if any man be in Christ, he is what? He's a new creature. He's a new creation. Old things are passed away. All things have become new. Okay? And in reality, you are a new creature in Christ. But now what has to happen is that the Spirit of God has to teach you what that walk is all about. And that doesn't come just because you accept Christ as Savior. That comes from being taught something. Staying in the Word. Okay, you have to be a student of the Word of God when you begin to learn what this walk with God is all about. Okay, and in reality, as we grow, we should be winning more battles than we losing. That's a sign of growth. Okay, we should be winning more than we're losing. Okay, in fact, at salvation, deliverance can and does take place. There are some things after you got saved you didn't have an appetite for it anymore. That's right. It was gone. Okay, I was in a service and I just share this just to make the point. I was in a service and the sister came up for prayer, prayed for the sister, and she had been a smoker. She had been a smoker for years. And she said, after that night, she never picked up another cigarette. Because deliverance can come, okay? It does come at salvation. Some things we drag in our walk with God. And there's some things we need to learn. And so for a long time, the person who's been in church a long time was the one who was detrimental to the new convert, because they would be the ones pointing the finger. You shouldn't be doing that anymore. And who's meaner than people who've been in church 20, 30 years? Who has less control on their tongue than saints who have been saved a while? Y'all scared of mine. Okay. So every man should what? Every man should work out their own soul salvation, their own self, with fear and trembling before God. Okay? And understand tonight that when you got saved, God is the author and finisher of your faith, and if He started your salvation, He knows how to end it. And not only is the beginning and end, He's everything in between too. Okay, He's working on you. How many know that God is working on you?
Amen.
And we really can thank God, because we know that we're not what we want to be, but how many know that you're not what you used to be? And really, you know you're not bad anymore. Okay, so and you should always celebrate small victories. If you win a battle, thank God for it. Don't just brush over that. Thank God for that. Okay, that you won that one. Okay, so Egypt is the place of bondage. They leave Egypt and they go to the wilderness. And the wilderness is a place of trying, a place of proving. This is where God proves. It's a place of proving. This is where He proves Himself to you, okay? But also in the wilderness is where He will try you. Okay? Bondage to wilderness, to try. In the wilderness, where they learned they learned that He was provider. They learned He was protector in the wilderness. They learned that He would lead and guide them right in the wilderness. He took care of them in the wilderness, okay? But all of it was, the backdrop to all of it was, He tested them. It's not that He didn't provide for them. They still got hungry. They got thirsty. Okay? And it was, and it's when sometimes they got in trouble because they didn't trust Him. Okay? So here's the point. Just because you're in the wilderness doesn't mean you're outside of the will of God. Doesn't mean you did anything wrong. That's where you're going to learn some things in the wilderness, the place of trust. So after Jesus started His earthly ministry, immediately He was led by the Spirit where? Into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. Okay? But we know that He won. He was tempted but won. Okay? So here's the lesson. You can win in the wilderness.
Amen.
Okay, you may be in the wilderness, but you can win. God will show you some things in the wilderness. Okay? And it was needed that they go there. Okay? And in fact, he took them a different route It was a longer route than the shorter route because they had not yet learned how to fight yet. And he knew that the short route is where they would encounter enemies. Okay? And they had a slave mentality. Not an army mentality, a slave mentality. Okay? But he takes them to the wilderness and he tries them there. Shows them who he is. I mean, look at it. They get to the Red Sea and they look like they trapped, and the cloud that was leading them goes behind them and stands as a barrier between them and their enemy. Amen. And how many know that sometimes it is only God that stands between you and your enemy? It's not that you don't have people gunning for you. Don't be that naive. Okay? Don't be that naive. I mean, sometimes when you walk through the door, you done made an enemy. You haven't said a word. Okay? And you have made an enemy. But thank God he is the one who stands between us and the enemy. That when the enemy would try to overtake us, they can't do it. Because God is the one who protects us. Okay? That happened in the wilderness. Okay? The Red Sea experience. They had to learn that when God is for you, nothing can be against you. So what do I have to do? I know what I'll do. I'll open up the sea. And let them walk through. On dry land. Okay? And we miss sometimes that the sea was open all night. See, sometimes you kind of think it was like the Charlton Heston ride. About 5 minutes. About 5 minutes. Okay. But all night God kept the water open. That everybody was able to get out of there. Okay? But here's something else that happened in the wilderness. Sometimes they failed the test. They failed the test. Okay? And the consequence of them failing wasn't good. Especially when it came around the disobedience and something the Bible calls something called murmuring. Murmuring. And again, the children of Israel murmured against God and against Moses. Okay? And God got tired of their whining. You know, and I've said it before, he don't like a whining child. It'll drive you up a wall.
Yes, Lord.
It'll drive you up a wall. Okay? Not like a whining child. And I'll go a step further. He's not like a whining adult. We said that's a whining grown person. Okay, ain't nothing like that either. Okay? And they would murmur. No matter what God did for them, they still murmur. Okay? Even at the Red Sea, listen to it, even at the Red Sea, Moses brought us out here to die in the wilderness. Well, there were graves in Egypt. Just murmur. Just making God mad. To the point where of all the adults that left Egypt, only 2 made it to the promised land. Joshua and Caleb. Only 2 made it in. That was meant, and all of them would make it in. But only 2 made it in because of their disobedience and their murmuring. Okay? And let's not even talk about while Pastor Moses up on the mountaintop get the 10 commandments from God. Now the associate minister, Reverend Aaron, in the back, and he done let the people talk him into fashioning a golden calf. Now, associate minister, how did they get you to do that? The pastor, your brother. He taken too long. He taken too. They thought Moses was dead. He been gone so long. They thought Moses was dead. Okay. So they decide. So they revert back to Egypt. Oh God. They revert back to what they know. Idol gods. And sometimes that's what happens in the wilderness. When you get frustrated in the wilderness, you go back to what's comfortable. You go back to what calms your nerves. That's how it becomes easy to backslide. Okay, that's how it becomes easy to go back to that old life, because the wilderness will frustrate you, and you go back to what's comfortable. Well, I need a cigarette. Because that's how you coped before God delivered us. I'll go back to drinking. I'll go back to clubbing. Because that's where we were comfortable. And in fact, what we say is, I'm saved now. I ain't supposed to be going through all of this. Isn't that what we say? I ain't supposed to be going through all this. Well, this is a part of your walk with God. You go from Egypt to the wilderness. It's a place of trying, the place of proving. God will prove himself to you there, but he will also try you there. And always know that God never tries us in order that we would flunk. That's not the intent, that we would fail. The intent is that we would keep our faith in him. Right? Because that's the test. Fear or faith. Am I going to be afraid, or am I going to keep my faith in God? Okay? All right. So and any questions about any of that?
Could that be a reason why you stayed in the wilderness for so long, because your faith wavers?
Well, that's a great point, because guess what? They stayed 40 years in the wilderness, in circles. He had them going in circles. You got me going. See, I go back to Egypt sometimes. I go back to Egypt. See, that goes back to Egypt. See, that goes
and I agree with everything. The thing that I see that a lot of times people will measure your faith. You wouldn't be going through if you were living right.
That too.
You know,
that too.
If your faith was strong enough, you wouldn't have these issues.
That too.
And the truth is that sometimes God will let you go through for you to grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know,
So does that mean that my faith is not strong because I'm going through?
No.
So
It has nothing to do with that. You know, remember when the disciples saw the blind boy, and they said, Lord, who sinned, him or his parents? And Jesus' answer was what? Neither. But this is for the kingdom, that the kingdom of God might be revealed. Right. Okay? So absolutely not. And we need to be careful about that. You know, because even in Jewish thought, they would think that a person was suffering because of something they must have done. Okay? Remember Job and Job's friends? Job, you must have done something. You ain't as old as you've been telling us. You must have done something. God wouldn't do this to you if you were living right. And we need to be careful about that, okay? Because the Bible says too, he who would live righteous, who would live right, must suffer. Many are the afflictions of the righteous. The righteous, okay? Right living comes with suffering, okay? And they stayed 40 years in the wilderness because of that. God, they died out. And guess what? Sometimes churches go through that. Change doesn't come until people die. They keep that old mentality does not die until certain people die. I've learned two things God does in the church that brings change. That's one of them, because people die. But the other one is He grows the church. He sends new people in. Okay, new people whose hearts are open to teaching and change. They don't care about A&E. They don't even care about denominations. They fall in love with Jesus. And that helps that church to move forward, not be stuck. Okay?
That's why the word said let the wheat and the tear, grows up, because sometimes, as it's growing, according to what is you feeding the most gonna outgrow and smother the other. So that's why I said let the wheat and the tear just grow together. Sometimes we want to pluck stuff out and move stuff out the way when God is saying, no, don't move it out. Just keep doing what you're doing. And they always say the righteous will win. So it comes out on that part. And that's why I like the part of wheat and tear.
Right, and you're correct. And the other part about the wheat and the tear is that they grow so closely together. If you try to get out the tail, it will affect the root. And so sometimes you may wonder, as a member of a church, why the pastor doesn't do anything about certain things, right? Because sometimes it does more harm.
That's right.
You root up some good people trying to get to the bad. Jesus, keep me near the door. Sometimes there's an old saying, let sleeping dogs lie. Just
keep moving.
Just keep moving. Some churches, when the pastor goes out to preach, they expect people to be there. So they expect certain people, especially the leadership of the church, to be there. I'm that way because whenever I preach, I want people there who want to hear the word.
That's right.
Who's looking past the man.
That's right.
And want to hear the word. Okay? And ain't nothing, am I only preaching here? Ain't nothing like preaching to folk with a sour look on their face. Just telling you what I do. Some of y'all know that. Y'all sing in the choir. Y'all sing in the choir. I see the same face. I'm looking at the same face that y'all looking at.
At least it's a group of us. At least it's a group of us.
Yeah, so no, you move on and you go, and that's why some church, you ever know the church to be stuck? They just stuck. They say it's been the same thing for years, generations.
Yes.
Same thing. They stuck. Okay. My pastor of the church, where it was family.
Because we can't folk religion.
And that's what it was, kinfolk religion. you know, and it didn't matter what I did.
Right.
Good, bad, or indifferent. It didn't matter. They didn't have a heart for me. Okay? So what God did was grew the church. Where it didn't matter. See, where the vote didn't matter. Because now they outnumbered. And that brought change. Okay? But some and with Israel, they died out. They kept them in the wilderness. And here's the message for, since you brought it up, here's the message for the rest of us. The one place you don't want to die is in the wilderness.
That's right.
Wouldn't that be a shame? Wouldn't that be, because here it is, God didn't mean for you to stay there. He had something better for you. And because we would not be obedient and follow the leader, we died in the wilderness. And that was not meant for you. Yes, sir.
One word you said that is the greatest word when people understand is the obedience.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we wonder why things don't work
Yeah.
in the way that we are trying to make it work. We have to understand that God set an order. And if the order is broken, you can't expect God to work in that because it's not set right. But if we follow the order and be obedient, it's not that I have to always like or agree with everything you say, but because, you know, it's like mommy and dad. Just because, you know, I'm living in your house, you feeding me, and you tell me to take the garbage out, I might want to watch, but I got to take this garbage out.
That's
because
right.
the head of the house said, this is what we need to do.
That's
and we
right.
find out that by us doing it with our parents, we get rewarded. And that's the same way in church is. You know, when we be obedient, God can work in things that we're trying to do just by being obedient. You know, it don't have to go my way. You know, but it just have to be, I have to be obedient to what God has said in front of me.
Yeah, we don't say it, and to be honest with you, I don't say it, I can say it somewhere else, and I don't say it here, but the reality is, why would God send you a leader and you not honor that leader?
Right.
And then you expect God to honor your work?
Yeah, that works.
Does that make any sense? Yeah. Why would you think God's going to honor what you're trying to do? Well, he doesn't. And sometimes, and do you know people got in trouble when they fussed at Moses?
Yes.
Okay? So his sister, his own sister, didn't like who he married. Didn't like who he married. And put her lips on him. And God struck her with leprosy. Now if God would do that for his sister, if you not blood, what you think God would do to you? And I'll move on from this point. One of the things that's lacking in church across the board is respect for leadership. That's not an AME thing. That's a church thing. Respect for leadership. In fact, I've never seen a day when people are so disrespectful of their leaders.
Yes.
How can you walk in the church door and not speak?
That's just to anybody. Yeah. That's just manners.
You know, my mother taught me. I was taught. Whenever you enter a room, you speak. That's just manners. But how do you come into the church where the pastor is the leader and don't speak? I just think it's across the board. And you know, and I'll get you,
Yeah.
and you know, it's not talked about, but the reality is that we're living in a day where preachers are so frustrated that they are leaving churches. They're giving up ministry.
Wow.
Because they are frustrated that they don't get the respect and the cooperation that they feel they need. So they just leave. Okay. My former church, I preached revival, First Baptist Church, in Watson, and once after the last night of one revival, he said to my members, "You better keep it. Give him what he wants. Because if he preaches like that, he can go anywhere he wants to go. You should make it hard for him to want to leave." That's what he said. Okay. Now, when I left, there were some people that were ding dong, the richest day. But since then, I've had people say, "Boy, we miss you. Never miss your water till your well runs dry." Okay, and watch out what you pray for. You just might get it. See, I heard it after I was gone. You know, because a prophet has no honor in his own country. Okay. Remain.
I just want to ask a question. I have trouble understanding if you're not happy at your church and you're not being fed, you say at your church, why are you still at that church?
Because it's
You
your
know,
church.
there's enough churches in Charlotte that you can go somewhere else if you're not happy. If you don't honor your pastor, you don't honor God. Why would you stay there? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, honestly, the real answer is it's personal. It's personal. And it's personal to the point where they were here before I got here. So they ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. But what else? But what else? You know, Ren Montgomery just got a church. And y'all keep him lifted up in prayer. Because with every church, there's a kind of a honeymoon period. What we call it a honeymoon period. Where, you know, everybody loving on you and you loving on them. But I've since learned, you know, and you wonder why sometimes when a guest preacher comes in and people respond to the guest preacher more than they do the pastor. Okay, but see, it makes sense. I've since learned the guest preacher isn't making any decisions concerning them. See, they're not, you know, they ain't mad at them about nothing. They ain't have to make no decisions. You know, and I since kind of passed that along. I said, they'll love you until you start making decisions. Then you're going to see some people change how they feel. Yes, okay. So you know, as much as they were ready to get rid of the previous pastor, as much as they were ready to get rid of him, the new pastor comes in and it's, "Thank you, Jesus." Until I start making decisions. And one of the biggest ones was tithing. Remember that?
Yes.
One of the biggest ones was tithing. He won't let us.
I still thank you, Jesus. I was there.
Yes. But they couldn't understand why this man won't let us sell these dinners. What's wrong with him? We need that money. And all I I was saying was the money is here.
I know that.
That's all I was saying, really.
All that
Okay.
work for $200.
Right.
All that work. We spent a day in the sun. Drive across town. Burn gas. Okay. For a $5, $7 dinner.
It cost you 6 to make.
Cost you 6 to make. Okay, and then and because on a Saturday, now we don't see you Sunday because you tired. You tired. You done spent all day Saturday. Now you tired and can't come to service. Can't come to worship.
Wow.
But that was a big thing when I first got here. You won't let us. You won't let us. You won't let us. And people look, your children even look. Gloria and Marissa used to bump heads. Man, I'm telling you, they would go at it. For a long time they went at it. Sometimes in the morning, when I'm trying to rest, First Lady and Marissa going at it. Okay? And for the longest, I remember one time Gloria said she don't like me. That's what she said, she don't like me. And I'm trying to say, no, it's not that. It's not that. I was, and y'all know by now, I was the yes man. That's my baby. What you want? That's me. I was the, but you got to have the enforcer. You got to have the enforcer. So it's logical. Who they gonna love? I was loved. But then, when Marissa graduated from high school, it was like a transformation took place. Now her mom is the best mom in the whole world.
What are you now?
Well, I'm still a great dad. I was what I was. Okay. I was what I was. I'm still a great dad. Okay. But it was after Marissa had to grow up and understand what her mom was trying to do, trying to teach her, trying to train her in some things. She was only trying to make her be a better person. That's all it was about. Making her a better person. But that person is often the person we don't like. Never forget, I had a teacher, second grade, that teacher. I swear that woman didn't like me. I mean, she just didn't mean to me. Okay? And I never forget, my mother came for, the parent-teacher thing, and she was raving over me. Oh, he's so well mannered. He's so quiet. You got a problem with that? She was raped, and I was looking like, where all this coming from? This woman don't treat me like that. She was trying to do something in my life, is what she was trying to do. That person doesn't get their accolades until later. Much later is when you get your accolades. Now Mother's Day, she sends her mom a card, and she writes these long notes in the card. How much she appreciates, how much she loves her mom, appreciates her mom, and what you did for me. I know I wouldn't be here if you hadn't done what you did. After the fact.
You done died and went to the wilderness by English.
She ain't dead, she's still alive. She's still alive. And it's the same way with the pastor sometimes. Sometimes, you take the good with the bad. When you know what you're doing is the right thing to do, you also have to learn how to take the heat forward.
That's right.
And I won't be a great pastor until I'm gone. For some of y'all love me.
Period.
Most of y'all love me. I know you do. But I'm saying there's some who won't see my value until I'm gone. What?
My thing is, you say it's personal between you and whoever. But my thing
No,
is
not on my side.
with them.
Yes.
With them. Excuse me, I said it wrong. But my problem is they should have that person. What's that personal relationship with God?
Ah,
You see my point because
but do
Do they?
that's the question.
well, that is the
And
question.
sometimes you need to examine yourself and see what is the meaning.
That
But those people don't. They
No.
just
Right.
upset
And be mad.
Be mad. They just come, they're not there to,
Upbuild the kingdom.
they're not there for kingdom building.
Correct.
They're there to,
there are other agendas going on.
and in the AME way, they wait you out.
Correct.
Because they know that you could be gone next
Sooner or
year.
later. Sooner or later.
So they'll wait you out.
Bide your time. And I've known people leave the church, and then when the new pastor comes,
They'll
they
come
come
back.
back. I've seen that happen. Okay, I've seen that happen.
All it is trees in the wilderness.
What'd you say?
All they are is trees in the wilderness.
Okay.
That's your new sermon.
There she go. Brother Evans.
One thing you just said that makes Christians and people who understand Jesus Christ, understand the walk of righteousness, will understand that concept is that, yes, your righteousness and your goodness will not be shown till you're gone. That's how Jesus was. And when we understand, when we focus on how much they really love us, then we have really took our focus off what really matters. What really matters is how much we love God. Can we stay in the will for ourselves? So whoever we are leading, and whoever, well, no matter how we feel or how we might even know, sometimes it just pays to don't even look at it. It just, listen, my focus is on Jesus Christ, and being focused on Him, He's going to direct me through every part of that wilderness, even if I got to sit here for 3 days, because my focus is on Him. I know I'm coming out. The key is there. I just got to be patient and wait till God brings me out. So when we focus on the who like, who don't like concept, then you can't preach on Sunday morning. Because you'll be standing there trying to figure out who's going to receive this message. But when you preach because of your focus, and you sing because of your focus, when you do what you do in God because of your focus, whoever's around you won't even matter. So yes, I ain't look for you to give me a pen. I might not get it to the casket clothes. Then you go, wow. Yeah. But that's really is how they done Jesus Christ. And we always say we want to be like Jesus.
That's a lot of it. Brother Howard, you at your head?
Oh, yeah, I would make 2 points. I think a lot of the things are personal because a lot of times people come into the church wanting to feel like they have something to offer or they have something unique. And generally, if you think about it, they don't have their way at work, they don't have their way at home, so they find the church to be a place to say, oh, maybe I can kind of convey my vigor or my strength or whatever, and I can be the boss or the head person in charge here that I can't be from where I've come from. And so, and I remember when we've talked, and I've said to the pastor that sometimes it's not people are directing to him, they're directing it to the position.
It would be any pastor.
To any pastor. It's just a position that, okay, he works for us. Hello? He works for God. God tells him he has control and he has responsibility
It's called
for us.
authority.
authority, yeah.
True.
And so people got this thing twisted. They're thinking, oh, he would, no, it's just the reverse. Pastor name is on that sheet that the bishop gives out, not my name or your name. Secondly, I think we did go through Greater Bethel, went through the wilderness, and I think God had to tell us something and show us something, because we were kind of laid back at Brandon Road when Pastor and First Lady showed up. Like I said, you could hear a pin drop in there. I think he put us in the wilderness to say, hey, you have some work to do. I've got to work with you. And when I'm sitting in those pews, in those chairs in that funeral chapel, I'm closer to my brother and sister than I was in Grandin Road, where I had a big pew and I was 3 feet away. It seemed like we grew closer. The spirit was more. We grew. And Pastor had to lead us through that wilderness, and this is where we came out.
Well, you talked about earlier the battle between the flesh and the spirit, and characteristics of both reflect itself within the body. You have those people who will want to dissent, will have fits of rage, will be jealous of the pastor because for whatever reason they don't have that influence that they want to feel like they can wield. And they allow themselves to be tools of the enemy rather than building up and edifying the body.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Let me say one thing. Okay. And I agree with everything you said. And it's just that I have trouble seeing people that have been in church 30, 40 years, and they still have an evil spirit. And that's really what it is. It's just an evil spirit that you don't want to see harmony. I can understand that you might get upset for a moment and have a bit of rage. But to do this week after week, month after month, year after year, no, that's a spirit.
Well, it is a spirit. You're absolutely right. And let's not ever forget that it is always going to be spiritual warfare. Don't ever forget that. There's always going to be spiritual warfare. Not only as the church as a whole, but if you're in a certain organization, there could be warfare going on in that organization as well. So it's not just that. My thing, and I'm going to give you 2 more that we're going to explain, but my thing for Greater Bethel is that I would want you to say that my being here left you better than when I came. That's all I want you to say. That I know he taught me something. See, if you can say that,
Good job. You
my job is done. He taught me something. He led me in some things I didn't know where he was going, but it turned out all right. That's all I want y'all to be able to say. Okay? All right. So we have the wilderness, then we have the crossing of the Red Sea, then it's the crossing of the Jordan River, right? And that's the place, water is the place of transition. Water is the place of transition. Okay, the Red Sea let them closer to where he was taking them. Okay, but they had to cross place. God will take you to a place, listen, no matter how long you stay in the wilderness, there always comes a transition. There comes that moment when God changes your direction. Y'all got that? Your hubby smiling, Sister Black. Your hubby smiling on that one. You always hit a place where you say, oh, I was here. Now, and it's difficult for us because we become comfortable. Wherever God puts us, we stay there and become comfortable. But then God says, no, it's time to move. It's time to move from there to here. You've gotten everything you can get out of Egypt. You've gotten everything you can get out of the wilderness. Now you have to cross over. There is a crossing over, where God takes you into something different, to a place you have not been before.
Amen.
Y'all got it? You ain't been there before. He takes you out of that comfort zone. And all that's going on is that you're in a place of transition. Y'all got that? Okay. All right. Okay. That's the reason. In Canaan, because God is trying to get you here. And Canaan is the place of promise. Canaan is the place of promise. All that you went through was to get you here. So that means you might not have liked a whole lot of what happened to you. Okay, but God was trying to get you here. And not only was he trying to get you here, he was preparing you for him. See, all this was preparation. Right? He was preparing you for that. Because ain't nothing like being someplace you're not prepared to be. You'll mess that up. Because you weren't prepared to be there. So we see NFL players, we see professional athletes, we see them make a lot of money, don't we? They make a lot of money. Right? And we say, man, the boy's doing good. And then we see they won't give up reefer. They beat up their wives, drive drunk, under the influence. And we say, what's wrong with them? That's what we say, what's wrong? They got it made. What's wrong with them? What's wrong is they weren't ready. They just weren't ready. If you give a teenager a sports car, you're asking for trouble. Because all they know is to go fast. They haven't been taught and trained, and they haven't even experienced the consequences of getting a ticket. So they're not ready for it. And sometimes our children are mad at us because they want us to give them something that they ain't ready for. And we know they ain't ready for it. So that's the worst thing you can do. I see little kids with gold chains around their necks. They don't even know what a gold chain is. They don't know the value of the chain. So they'll lose it because they didn't know what the value of it was. And that's why a good parent will take your children through all of this. In bondage. 9 o'clock, you're going to bed. No, you can't date yet. That's bondage. No, you can't date yet. Because we know what? They ain't ready. Okay? We got to close. Because the other thing, too, ain't nothing like a broken heart. And if you date, you're going to get a broken heart. That comes with the territory. Everybody in here done had their heart broken. Comes with the territory. Okay? But we try to save them from that, especially at an early age. We try to save them from that. So we try to keep them bound up. Bound up. How old Morgan now? 10 next month. She's in double digits. When I came in, she was about 2 years old. Look at that.
I got 8 more years for
Any questions or comments about them? I didn't go into a whole lot with the last two, but any questions or comments about any of this? We still talking about, we didn't get to it tonight, we're still talking about Rahab. We're trying to get to Rahab, okay? All right. If not, come on, give God a hand.